Welcome back to the Quiz 8 podcast.
Part 2.
Of changes.
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, so I think we left our guests, not our guests, our panel.
And the guests, they were left
Well,
thinking.
I think we left you with a very interesting question about a big event that changed you or had an impact on you.
Oh, yes.
So I think our listeners are eagerly waiting for your stories.
For our dark secrets, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought we
Reveal
were
the dark
starting with Pratik, weren't we?
Starting with me?
Yeah.
I can start.
I think so.
Okay, that makes you
Pratik.
feel easier.
Yes.
Yeah, I got into a relationship when I was a relationship. When
Delicious. You were saying.
Delicious.
it's very delicious, yeah.
Taste it.
Stirred a lot of drama. This was when I was 17 or 16, I can't remember. But it turned into a very abusive relationship.
Oh, no.
And then my parents, they always warned me against it. But obviously, as a teenager, you were also a rebel.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to hear a word from them against the person I was dating. And this led to a lot of friction in the family, so much so that I had stopped talking to my parents, or I would just hide secrets from them. I would just hide my everyday routine or whatever, because I was skipping classes, going out on dates,
Oh, yes.
So as a result, I did not realize when this relationship became abusive. So much so that, that there was a bit of a violence that was involved, and, this person, she started calling my relatives and, talking bad.
Spreading
about me,
rumors and
Spreading
things.
rumors, very malicious
Bad rumors.
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Trying to maybe separate you from people?
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
you to
in a way,
yourself?
like isolate me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think Orkut was very popular in those days. But this was before we used Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started posting a lot of filthy stuff on my wall, which everyone had the access to.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's when you realize that, whatever your parents warned you against, I think it's...
Maybe listen
it's
to
all
them
true,
carefully.
maybe. Now, how it's changed me, of course, I got out of that relationship. I had to seek some help, and, of course, parents helped too. But what I realized from from that incident is that parents are not always wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something I would give them the credit for, because they have seen
They've got
life.
more experience.
They have more experience,
Mhm.
and then they wish the best for you.
Yeah.
So I think now, as an adult, I listen to my parents a lot more than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I know that they don't really understand the real situation, because we live in very different cultures and situations.
Yes.
But I try and adapt their suggestion into my situation that works best for me.
Nice.
I think
Wow.
it's interesting
Wow.
because
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much. It's
Yeah.
very personal as well, isn't it?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think it's always listen to your parents. I think sometimes you just you're blind, as in you just can't see another person's perspective of something, and but actually, it's very similar to you. This to Pratik's situation. So yes, I was in a 5-year relationship. We're just talking about relationships at the moment.
Yeah, they're
Oh
quite
my God.
transformative.
They are.
aren't they?
Yes.
It's a big part of your life.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
can change, I think. So this was before, I think, Japan, yes. So I was 25 and I met a nice lady from Italy. She was Italian, and I was working in the same office. And we got into a relationship, and it was a 5-year relationship. The last 2 years were long distance.
Uh-huh.
And those last 2 years were probably the best years of my life, because
Why? Tell us why.
I was just living alone, and I actually had time to think about my life, and it was not a really happy life with this other person. So it took me a while to actually really reflect on what I really wanted to do. at the time I was in business in like companies like Fujitsu and Samsung. They were great, but I was not really that happy. And it was a big moment really in my life of change. And I just, the last year, I think we split up, unfortunately, a year before Japan. And that year, I just got my life together. I just said to myself, well, I want to do something that I would, be happy, be proud of doing, achieve. And so I chose teaching. And and in Japan, I've never really gone to Asia before. So Japan couldn't be, it's completely different.
It can be more different to UK.
Couldn't be more different, yes. So that was a big change in my life. So getting rid of my fiance.
Oh, you guys were.
We
planning
were
to marry.
engaged.
Yes, actually, yes.
Wow.
It was very. It was very near the wedding, I think, when
Wow.
we decided to. But yeah, she kind of decided by email to end it by email.
By email?
But,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Come on!
Wow.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
communication was
Very
not.
disappointing. But
Yes,
yeah.
very disappointing. We lost all communication. But
Mhm.
but that year was a turning point in my life. So that was a big change. And when I came to Japan, I was so happy, just fresh, just born again. I just felt born again.
Yeah, so you were thankful for that
Yes.
change, that point of change.
Born free,
Free as the wind
as free as the wind
flows.
blows.
Yeah.
Of course, we transition to karaoke.
Apologies, sorry, listeners.
No worries.
No, I'm sure this was a very this was how things turn around in your life, and how you get a fresh perspective on a lot of things.
That's it. But,
Yeah,
yeah, me in particular, very relationship kind
Yeah,
of scenario, but.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can boast that, but yeah, I'm not very lucky with those things.
Oh, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Well,
were.
of course, I'm very positive.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Let's talk to Mike or Rowie, whoever. wants
Yeah,
to
would
go.
you like to go first?
Let Junkin. Yes, I was just about to say Junkin.
Junkin.
Rock,
Rock, scissors, paper. 1, 2, 3.
Oh no!
1, 2, 3.
Ah, okay.
Does that mean I go
You
first?
won. I don't know. You decide.
Okay, I'll go first.
Scissor beats paper. Okay.
I was trying to think of some small things that have really changed my life, and I was thinking of this one picture that my parents have in our bathroom, in the toilet of our house when I was young. It was a quote from Mark Twain. And I'm trying to remember the exact quote. Something like, when I was young, I thought my father was foolish. And when I was grown, or when I was a teenager, I learned that he was... No, sorry, I'll start again.
Okay.
When
Take
I was...
two.
Yeah, we take two. When I was young, I thought my father was the smartest man in the world. And when I was a teenager, I thought my father was the most foolish man in the world. When I was grown, I learned that he was neither. He was just a man. And that was a really cool quote. And I didn't really understand it when I was young, of course, because you don't really think about it. And then as I got older, I learned more about my dad. I used to think about that quote, and he'd make himself more vulnerable, perhaps, in certain situations. For example, unfortunately, when we were young, we had this cat, and it passed away. And I saw him cry. And it was the first time I'd seen my father cry. And that was a really big point where I sort of started realizing, oh wow, he's got his own emotions and struggles.
He's human. He
Yes,
can have emotions.
right? He's valuable.
Doesn't always have to be the tough
Yeah.
father. Our fathers do that, I think,
Yes.
intentionally or unintentionally. I don't know.
Try and be strong,
Try to be strong.
but the strong image.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
last man standing in the family. Just-
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was crying, and me and my brothers were very confused. And we're like, what's Dad doing? And Mum's like, oh, he's very upset
Yeah.
because the cat's dead. And so that was a really big shock. I was about 10, I guess, 11 at that time. And I just had this realization, oh wow, your parents are human.
And how much that
Yeah.
cat meant to your father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this cat was so
It was
precious.
love.
Mm.
Yes.
It was love. The cat's name was Poopy.
Poopy. Poopy.
Oh, that's cute.
He used to fart on my dad's face.
But
So that's why he called him Poopy. Yeah, actually, there's a bit more to that story. I was, this is terrible, I was playing with some matches when I was young, and I accidentally set a room on fire, and the cat was in the room.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Just blame it on the cat. It was the cat's fault.
We found out later that she kind of choked on the smoke, but she was quite quick.
Okay.
Like, she didn't suffer too much. The firemen were really nice. They were like, yeah, we did a quick check on her, and it looks like she wasn't struggling or anything. She just kind of passed out, and that was it. But I felt terrible because I was the one who made my dad cry.
Did you tell them?
Oh, they knew.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I came running out of our room going, oh my god, something going on, and then there was a fire alarm going off. There was a fire brigade had to come up and sort it out, all that stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Wow.
But the part when my dad cried was that was the bit that I was kind of, oh, wow, I've done a bad thing, and I made him cry. He's a vulnerable person too, and it really kind of helped me think outside of myself about other people a bit more. And ever since then,
the thing you said in the last podcast about like how you become more considerate and mindful, it probably ties into that.
oh, very nice. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think that was what triggered me thinking about other people and their feelings. How they can be precious. You gotta be careful with them sometimes.
I've never seen my dad cry. Never.
Wow.
I've seen him once, yeah.
You seen his dad cry?
No, I've seen my dad.
My dad? Really?
Just once, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my dad's
Anyway.
quite emotional. He cries at like Disney movies.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well. Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, let's normalize crying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I guess
talk
I
to
can
Romy.
just jump into what Mike was talking about.
Oh.
Probably a big change for me. I mean, there's several events in our lives, I'm sure. But the one that came into mind because of Mike's story is when my grandfather passed away. I was in high school. And Mike was talking about being vulnerable and seeing his dad cry and all that. When I was younger, as most people are, I didn't know how to handle my emotions very well. So I would just get angry when instead of expressing my emotions, right? But when my grandfather passed, I was in high school. I was very close to him. I was the favorite, they say. Favorite
Apple
apo.
of his eye.
Yeah,
Oh.
apo is like grandchild in Tagalog. And because there's 4 of us in the family, I'm the eldest daughter. So my 2 sisters, they were very close to my dad. My brother, as the only boy, is very close to my mom. I'm close to both my parents, but I was first born. So when I was still young, my grandparents took care of me a lot. So I was known as the favorite apo or grandchild.
Nice.
And when he passed, it was heartbreaking for me. It was like the first death of someone really important in my family. And I just like cried a lot. I wasn't afraid of crying at that time, but I was never good in expressing my feelings with words. And I think after that experience, I learned that we don't really have that much time. We don't know what's going to happen. Like in an instant, someone can disappear.
Truth.
So from then on, I have made my family very uncomfortable because my dad is Chinese. He is very unexpressive with his emotions. I don't think I've ever heard him say "I love you" to us ever.
Yeah.
Oh. Does he say it to
There's a
like?
different language of love, maybe. But
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
words.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ooh, wrong.
Wrong too.
Wrong shoe. Yeah,
Get her some water
Do you
quickly.
need some?
it's okay. I will power through. But after that, I always just. It sounds like I'm crying.
No,
okay.
just the information. Romy is not crying.
Not crying yet.
Yeah, not crying yet, but I would say I love you every single time. I talk to my parents or my siblings or even chats. I'm the first one to be like, love you, mom, or I love you before. And my sisters, I guess sometimes, I think because I've always done it, they kind of learn from me. My brother, I've never heard. But I'm the first one to either say I'm sorry or I love you. With the I'm sorry part, I realized that sometimes, even if I don't think I'm the one at fault, like, sometimes you think the other person is at fault. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, but instead of prolonging like the agony of fighting with my sister, especially I live in Japan, they live in the Philippines, I just be like, okay, look, I think we had a misunderstanding, I'm really sorry. I
you
would
could
just
be
let go.
just sorry about the misunderstanding.
Exactly.
Rather than like, sorry I did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Just sorry that happened.
So I'm not as shy with expressing. It's not like I say I love you to every single person I meet, but
She does. She says it all the time. She said it to a tree yesterday.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, anyway.
Only joking.
But with my family, I learned to be more expressive because I learned that at least I would not regret it.
That's
At
right.
least they know that yes, whatever happens, we fight. I'm far away, but you know I love you, and you know that if we fight, that regardless of what happened, it's not as if I intentionally want to hurt you.
Mhm.
Like that. At the end of the day, after all of the things that have been said, I am still sorry. So that's one thing that I learned, I guess. And it's changed my life, that experience, in the sense that I realized that it's okay to be vulnerable and to express your feelings with words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not perfect at it, but I think when it comes to my family, I've gotten way, way better with expressing my feelings.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
That's a
big,
very interesting point, I think.
big
to
emotional change.
To understand that you are human and it's okay to be expressive and yet be in control of your feelings and be vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I was just wondering, do you have any regrets in life?
I wish I hadn't killed that cat.
Oh, you cat killer!
I killed the cat.
You're the poopy killer.
Yeah, poopy killer! Poopy!
Apart from that, no, not too many. I think maybe when I was younger, I wish I was a bit more honest when dating people. A little bit. I wish I was a bit more clear about what I wanted from people
The relationship.
and what they wanted. Yeah, because some of them ended in a less
Abruptly.
Yeah, with some heartache that could have been avoided if we were more clear. So that would be one thing.
Yeah.
Be more honest.
Yeah, for me, no. I just believe everything that you do, just there's a reason behind it. It's all a meaning of living your life and learning from your mistakes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't go by it. I never want to regret. I've done some stupid things in my life,
But learn from them.
but learned from them.
Mm.
Well, some of them. No major regrets. I've been lucky in life and still breathing, still here on this earth, still smiling, so that's good. But no, I don't think I can say that I've regretted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Derek for me. I've always believed that things happen for a reason. And I think one point in my life, there was an instance where I couldn't even figure out what was the reason. And I realized from that experience, it's too long to say it now, but I realized that down the line, you will actually realize. Like, you might not at the specific moment understand why something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as you go through your life, then more and more you'll understand, oh, okay, maybe that's the reason why it happened. So, yeah, I don't think I have any regrets. I'm already such a big overthinker, so I already overthink everything. That for me, if something bad happens, I always like, oh my god, why? What do I have to learn from this? Is one thing that I always ask myself, so I can, keep improving and maybe not have any regrets.
Yeah. Same. I wish I had a different answer, but I just see every opportunity as a learning situation. As long as I can learn from it and grow out of it, which is hard.
Yes.
But no major
Never easy.
regrets, of course, like stupid regrets. I wish I was more careful choosing my career, and of course now I'm doing what I obviously love, but I've wasted some time. But again, that's part of the process.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't call that a regret.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you for opening up your hearts to our listeners.
Love is the answer.
Love is an open door. No,
Yes.
Love is the answer.
Yes.
Love is the key.
Let my love
Please
open
post
the
your
door.
stories if you want us to read about your life in the comment section.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, do it. Do it.
Subscribe and like.
Indeed.
Yes, and
Yes.
keep watching out for our next few episodes. Maybe in the next one, you'll be one of our guests.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Please let us know in the comment section what you think about that, and also post any topics that you would like us to discuss. So, all along, this has been the
Curious 8 Podcast. See you next time, everybody.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.